Good afternoon. My name is Victor Palushai and I will present the subject of initial public offering, or shortly called IPO. First, IPO or going public is a process of offering security, generally common or preferred stock, of a privately owned firm or company for sale to the general public. The first time these securities are offered is referred to as initial public offerings, or IPO. Either S&P and New York Stock Exchange, or NASDAQ, which stands for National Association of Securities Dealers Automated Quotations. But why companies go public? We will discuss in some detail the importance of going public and why the company do so. Because the reason is the companies utilize the IPO in order to raise capital to monetize the investments of current private investors and to eventually become publicly traded enterprises. Also, as well, they access capital markets to raise money for expansion of operations. They acquire other companies with publicly traded stock as the currency. They attract and retain talented employees. Also, they diversify and reduce investor holdings, provide liquidity to shareholders, and they enhance the company's reputation. First, in this slide, we will discuss the advantages of, or the positive impact of the IPOs. Obviously, it is important to go public because you increase the cash and long-term capital. The funds are obtained. We increase in the market value of the company. We can merge and acquire different companies with stock considerations and conserve cash. Shareholders might achieve improper liquidity and greater shareholder value, so we have a growth strategy. Also, the advantage is part of the advantage is ability to attract and keep the key personnel, and as well they increase prestige and reputation for shareholders, and the companies is usually enhanced. As much as advantages, there are advantages, we have disadvantages in this process. We have ongoing expenses, loss of control, loss of privacy, and pressure for performance, constant innovation and to operate. Besides those disadvantages, we have restrictions on insider sales, which are usually limited. We have to have a great investor relations, and obviously it's no turning back if we are going once to IPO. It's only one way. We have also a disadvantage to be hostile to takeovers, and the litigation risk, it's controlled by the Sarbanes-Oxley Act. So those are part of the disadvantages of going public or IPO. IPO process is important, especially the task of finding the underwriter. The underwriter is a very important part of the IPO team, as an experienced underwriter has experience in marketing, structuring the deal, facilitating syndications with co-underwriters, knowledge of market conditions and various types of investors, experience in pricing stock, the ability to help clients, companies with future offerings, etc. Also, the registration statement form is one of the first steps to be taken, and SEC form has to be filled, which is the form S1. In order to represent the company and for the potential investors to get more information, the underwriter arranges meetings which are usually held by president and other management personnel. Obviously, pricing, aftermarket activities are all part of IPO process, which are underlined, and the process is very expensive, and sometimes it takes like up to 20 to 30% of the initial public offering or the price of the share. It is important to build a great team in order to successfully make a transition to IPO. Besides having participants like auditors, lawyers, underwriters, and accounting advisors, it is in place when planning on going public. Another important component is the SEC, which is the Security and Exchange Commission. The Security and Exchange Commission ensure a fair playing field for public companies and their investors. Besides that, we have to have a great company personnel, which is a company's participation in the process of preparing the registration. Next, the securities counselor, which is any selection of individuals to provide professional services. There must be a right chemistry between a management team and the company's securities counsel. Next one is the investment banker, which is companies can go to market without an underwriter, but the process is so complex and the know-how so specialized that is really done. Next person or part of the team is the underwriter counselor, who are generally responsible for drafting the underwriting agreement. Along with those are independent auditors, which are strategic and technical advisors, and company independent auditors will play a key role throughout the registration process. One of the key personnel is the advisory accountant. They can offer advice and assistance to organizations with limited experience in IPOs and executing capital market transactions by providing an objective view of the critical issues involved in accessing a particular capital market. Along with those, we have the financial printer, which is responsible for printing and registration statement and procedures specified by SEC. We have other advisors or professional advisors, which are a public relation firm experienced in SEC registration, etc. Obviously, being in automotive industry, we have to touch bases with the companies that are related to our subject. Recent companies they went to IPO or public is Tesla, electric company or electric car company. After the reconstruction, GM, after the reconstruction and bankruptcy filing, GM went in 2010 with their public offering. Ally Financial was the financial arm of GM, and it's recently, last couple months, went public actually this April, and offered their pricing. Also, Bay Group, which is company partners in China with Daimler. Santander, which is similar bank in Europe, like Ally Financial, so does loans and leases and all the other stuff in Europe. And obviously Stabilis, which is a supplier from Germany. They all went there through their IPO process, and that was a great experience to know about their public offerings and their experience with this process and this subject. It is wrong to assume that the work is done at this point. So after IPO, we have to have something always in front of our eyes. It's very important to maintain the investors' enthusiasm in order to keep them interested in the company. We have to keep the sales and trades up, which will ensure the effective distribution of the stock. Also, it's crucial for the company to always release accurate information about earnings, stock, positive and negative development. And because the company is public now, it will be under a loop and has to deal with greater obligation, and the management has to be ready at all times to answer questions about finances, security, and requirements. So we always have to have a continuous work and progress. Well, we have some recommendations or actions we learned throughout the process of IPO and what we should do in the future regarding that. It is important to expose the company obviously to events and roadshows to keep it to flow. We have to keep being innovative. We have to keep up with sales and trades, understand the constant changes in the industry and in the markets, and adjust towards them. Also, if we want to grow our profit, we have to merge or acquire other companies to keep the value and the price high. So these are all these little recommendations and actions in order to keep our share or our price high and keep being on top of the market. So these are the references and the resources and individuals helping us understanding this great process of ongoing public or initial public offerings. It was a great experience learning about it, and I really enjoyed the subject. Thank you for listening. If you have any question regarding the subject of IPO or going public, please list your questions below the YouTube link, and or we have a second choice of going to the course message and create a thread. And if it's anything we can explain more thoroughly, then I didn't go through in the first place, we'd be more than happy to do so. Thank you very much and have a great day. Bye-bye.